And there it is, guys. We officially now, from the mouths of Nintendo, have that Nintendo Direct that's been rumored time and time again, and it's coming tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, which is a lot earlier than normal. Normally it's in the evening, but we get to wake up to an early Direct and talk about it all day, which is great. And it's a general Direct. It's not a mini. It's been announced. It's a general Direct. It's 40 minutes long. And it talks about having more details on Pikmin 4, which is probably going to be one of the main focuses, which is cool. But of course, we have to start predicting because there's so many things that could be in this Direct. Like, this could be a big one. I know we say this every time, but think about it. This is normally when the E3 Direct takes place, one of the bigger Directs of the entire year. It showcases tons of new games for the year and also big surprises for the future, which we'll get into a little bit. I don't know if there's going to even be a future since the Switch seems to be at the end here, but big things are coming and we have different categories for you guys today. But before we jump into this, a couple things. First, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe, and just make sure you're subscribed right now because lots of you watching this video are not yet subscribed. It helps us a long way, and you could be tuned in when we talk about this Direct all day tomorrow, and I probably am even going to live stream it, so you can jump in the stream with me, chat with me, and we'll talk about this thing. It's going to be tons of fun, so stop what you're doing, leave a like and subscribe. It's that simple. And number two, certain YouTubers out there like to call other YouTubers out. I think it's funny, and you know, apparently there is a big Nintendo disease out there, but I just put it out there. I'm just saying. All right, we can get to the prediction list. All right, starting off with things that we know. This one is actually not a lot because there's not a lot that we know. Most of this is DLCs, but let's talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about each game and kind of give you a specific prediction as to what I think is going to happen and how likely I think those things are going to happen. So Pikmin 4 is going to have a big focus, apparently. Probably close to 10 to 15 minutes around the middle of the show, I would expect. I would probably even say there's not going to be a separate Direct for this game unless they do announce one during the show. But just the fact that they brought it up makes me want to believe that they're just going to talk about it during this Direct, and there's not going to be a separate Direct for this game, which is fine. But, you know, who knows? I think we're going to get a new Pikmin type. They're going to show some new worlds and some new areas, maybe, you know, areas themed after the inside of a house or something. We see like modern homes and like even like basements and stuff in some of the scenes, gardens and playgrounds. So we might see some more stuff along those lines. Like I said, a new Pikmin type. I don't know what it's going to be, maybe green or something, I don't know, orange, who knows at this point, but there will probably be new bosses and stuff as well. Really just giving us hype and showing us maybe the multiplayer and things like that. Mario Kart Wave 5 could get dropped this Friday, believe it or not. I think they definitely could do that. Or I would say the first week of July, which is in 2 weeks. But either way, we're going to see something Mario Kart Wave 5 related. They're going to show us at least 2 tracks. But I'm going to predict this definitely could happen this week because there's not really much going on in June at all. I don't think. I think actually Everybody Want to Switch is the only thing that's happening soon. And that's next week. So it's either this week or the first week of July. I'm going this week still. I can see it happening very soon, like almost like a shadow drop. But we then have Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC. This could be here, but I could also see them waiting for a September Direct and shadow dropping it then. I'm saying 50-50. Probably just more campaign missions is what this DLC is going to be, and maybe just expanding some side story apart from the main story, because pretty much I think the main story is at a close now, like for Splatoon 1 through 3. So this could be some type of side story or something very similar to Octo Expansion, hopefully featuring new bosses and not reused ones, and more unique stages instead of just regular campaign missions that are like floating obstacle courses in the sky. I hope it's something that maybe could tie into what the next Splatoon DLC or next Splatoon, you know, campaigns are going to be like. So maybe something more open-ended, you know, more exploratory instead of like, you know, just floating obstacle courses. But another thing we could possibly see is Pokemon DLC. We know there's 2 more packs, I believe, coming this year. They could all, I don't know, this one's hard because Pokemon has still sometimes made appearances during General Directs. And I feel like if they were going to have their own Direct, normally it's like a week before. I don't know. It could be a week after this time. Maybe, you know, the Pokemon company wants to cover this DLC on their own. I don't know. It could be here. Definitely just keep an eye on that. That's a possibility. And then we have Everybody Want to Switch. Unfortunately, we will get a quick cover over it. I don't care about this stupid game. I think it's stupid. But, you know, Nintendo is going to have at least like a minute segment just showing this thing off. and it's just going to make us all sigh and shake our heads when it happens. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. It's already pretty much been announced, so like it's just going to happen. Just get ready for it, guys. Oh, and I almost forgot, Mario Rabbids, it's definitely going to get its DLC, because we also didn't really see it during the Ubisoft presentation. They showed a quick clip and then just showed Rayman for a second for the last wave. But the second wave is definitely going to get a trailer, a full trailer. We've even seen some art pop up on some Nintendo Switch news pages where they showed a Rabid King Bob-omb. So yeah, we're definitely going to get some stuff soon, and they'll probably just kind of brush over this real quick, show it for like a minute and say, it's out now or something. I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to say out now. I think there's going to be a little bit of a gap until we see this. I'm going to say early July / early August. One of those. I don't know. It's going to play around with the other DLCs, so probably early August, but we'll see. Now, this category is a new one because it has so much, reliability to it with the people that have said it, and like Pyoro on Twitter, for instance, being like 100% reliable after all the things that they have announced. This one just feels like a category I had to make up for, like, this situation, because I want to call these super rumored, because I believe they are literally all but confirmed. And the first one is the big one and probably the big game of the show, a brand new 2D Mario game that apparently is not part of the new series. So finally we're away from the new Super Mario Brothers games, and apparently it's just a brand new 2D Mario game, which I am very excited to see this. Like, it's actually like, I'm nervous to see it as well. I can see this game looking very unique, maybe even a new art style, new mechanics for how the characters move or how Mario moves. I don't know who's going to be playable, but I hope it's like wacky worlds, like kind of like Mario Odyssey style, not traditional to the new series, no like jungle, water, desert, grassland, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see some wacky levels, and maybe more of an exploration factor to them instead of just busting all the way to the end. But I almost want to say maybe include Cappy or something similar that could be really cool, like to give the game a new style. Could you imagine Mario capturing enemies in a 2D space and stuff? That would be really cool. And, solving puzzles in 2D as those certain enemies like a Goomba or Hammer Bro and stuff again. But I don't know. Maybe it's not Cappy, maybe it's something new, but I think this is going to be really cool. I think this could even be huge for the future of Mario Maker, giving us a new game style and stuff to create with. But this is probably going to be the first or last game for the announcements, obviously. I'm going to go with first. It just feels like first, because normally the first game announced is what's coming soon. The last game announced is a game that's coming way off in the future. So I think this is going to start the show. It's going to get everybody super excited, super hype. It's going to be a great show starter. But the next and last super rumored thing is apparently there's an SNES classic game being remade. And a lot of people were thinking maybe Chrono Trigger. I saw a couple of rumors regarding that, but I see even huge evidence now that it's probably going to be Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I can't really give you extreme specifics. Some leakers have been leaking like different emojis that represented the cast and the characters, like a mushroom for Mario, a crown for Peach, a tree for Geno, and like a cloud for Mello. So I would love to see this game. I mean, I've tried to play it. I just never really could finish it. I don't remember why. Maybe just because I'm just not huge on the traditional RPG style, compared to like Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi. But I would love to give this game a try, and it's a perfect way to give it a try for it being remade. And I think that's another huge Mario game for this year that people are going to really love. So that's exciting for sure. But those are our super rumored games, the ones that have the most credibility as of right now. Now, this next category is just other rumors. There's been other rumors that are not like as credible as those two, and that they could happen, they very well could not happen. I don't really know, but they're definitely things to keep your eye on. So, one of the first ones is F-Zero GX HD could very well happen. This one has been rumored for a while, and a lot of people are coming to the table saying that this is a real thing and it's happening. I've actually seen this more than pretty much some of the other ones, but it's not quite as super rumored as the other two right before the show. It's just been talked about to be coming eventually. We could definitely hear about this here. I could see this happening for sure, especially since we have two big Mario games looks like happening. I might not go with the next one, which is Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door HD, which has been popping up recently a lot as well. But there's no way Nintendo is going to do Mario RPG and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake at the same time. I just do not see that happening. They're going to wait with Paper Mario if this is true, which hurts me because, oh my gosh, I'd much rather have Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. I'm sorry, Mario RPG fans. This is my life. That's my childhood. That game means so much to me. So I unfortunately have to say it's probably not going to happen here. If it does, I probably will lose my mind. But probably not here. And another big one that's probably not here, which I would love, would be Kid Icarus Uprising HD. It has been kind of teased by Sakurai on his YouTube channel, but lots of people are also saying that it still might be too soon for this to happen, and it's still a little ways out. But I'd still think it's up there with F-Zero compared to Paper Mario, but F-Zero is still the most likely of the classic games to me. Kid Icarus being next, I would love to see that with a new control style with the Switch instead of the stylus on the screen. But unfortunately, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door just seems like it's still a pipe dream for us. But we'll see. We can always be surprised. But next up, we have Mario Baseball, which is very likely, in my opinion, as one of the games that we have not had in a while, the Mario Sports series. There's also been lots of talk about this happening, and that apparently Nintendo's been, advertising with Seattle lately or something. I know they're going to Seattle for like a play thing, but apparently with the baseball team, the Mariners, they're kind of, working with them for some type of Switch advertisement or something. So maybe that would make sense, a Mario Baseball game. If this is happening, I hope it's a true return to form like Super Sluggers with a giant, unique cast of players, and lots of stadiums. It's not just like a cash grab thing where they throw out the bare minimum and we have to wait for updates and stuff. So hopefully they don't follow that trend like the other Mario Sports games on the Switch, and we could have ourselves a really fun, really good Mario Baseball game. That'd be 3 Mario announcements, man. Talk about the Mario drought we've been in. This is something that would help quench our thirst for Mario. So yeah, but the last thing that's been rumored forever is the Legend of Zelda ports. Obviously with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, we've been waiting for these games on Switch. I just don't think it's happening. Tears of the Kingdom just came out, and there's probably still even possible DLC coming out for Tears of the Kingdom, so I don't think this is happening anytime soon. At this point, I think these 2 ports are just going to be shoved into the next console. I don't think we're seeing Wind Waker or Twilight Princess anytime soon. It wouldn't even make sense to announce it already. I feel like that's something that you can just announce during a later direct for, the next year or one of the years when we don't have a Zelda game. It just makes sense. It's just not going to happen right now. And then we move on to our last category is surprise games. What's left? What is left on the table? Not necessarily rumored, not necessarily leaked, just stuff that just makes sense. Some of these have some rumored credentials to it. But first off, I want to say, before the Switch is out, I think there's a couple of games that definitely could be brought up here. The first, Luigi's Mansion 4. I actually think there's a chance they could use the same engine as 3, and it could be a good send-off for the Switch, another really good game for the fall around, Halloween season again. I think could very well happen. We're approaching 4 years since Luigi's Mansion 3, so definitely, yeah, I think it's more likely than a lot of people think. I think a lot of people are just putting this in the back of their mind. Keep an eye out for Luigi's Mansion. It's not completely out of the works yet. Like, that's a game that sold extremely well on the Switch. So we could definitely be seeing 4 sooner than what people, naturally think. Next up, we have Donkey Kong. It's been a real drought for Donkey Kong fans. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen unless somehow we can see that rumored 3D DK, because with the 2D Mario coming, we are not going to see a 2D Donkey Kong. It's just too much 2D. I don't think Nintendo is going to do that. So I'm saying this game is either 3D or not happening, which will be pretty unlikely for this year. Unless there are plans for new Switch games. Like I said, it's hard to say what Nintendo's plans are for next year. Like, are we done with the Switch this year? Are they going to release a new console at the beginning of next year? Are there more Switch games coming at the beginning of next year? It's hard to say. If there's more Switch games coming, this could definitely be one of those games Nintendo announces at the end of the show, and like 2024 is when we'll see like this 3D Donkey Kong game or something like that. So it's hard to say right now. So I will say if there's one last big game coming into the future, it has to be Donkey Kong. I really don't know who else it would be at this point besides like Metroid Prime 4, which of course that's what we move on to now. I still think it's too early. I hear people talking about Metroid Prime 4. I hear people bringing it up. I think it's too early. There hasn't been much information on it. I think they're slowly getting out the other Prime games. For instance, I think Metroid Prime 2 and 3, we could finally start seeing another one of those. I think maybe like every direct until Metroid Prime 4 comes out, we could get another Metroid Prime. For instance, we could get Metroid Prime 2 this direct, and then the fall direct, they could announce Metroid Prime 3, and they could all be shadow drops or something. That would be really cool, like a cool way to slowly build up the hype for 4. But they're still hiring. They literally just put out another thing for hiring more people for this game. This game's not ready yet. I don't think they're going to show it off yet. They could maybe give us a glimpse. I don't think it's going to happen. Seriously, I think people are getting their hopes way too up. I think this is going to be a big game for the next console. I think they should do that, utilize that really good hardware. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen yet, guys. I'm sorry. It still feels too soon. Even as long as it's been, it feels too soon for as ambitious as this game is sounding. Like all the people that they've hired and how hard that they're working on this game, it seems too ambitious to be revealed already. We're just gonna have to wait a little while longer. But next up we have Mario Party. Could come later this year as well, because we haven't had Mario Party in a while, but 1-2 Switch might ruin that. I don't know. I think this is also a 50-50. Who knows at this point? There's just so many Mario games that could happen. It's just been so long. It is a hard time to kind of predict what Mario game is coming when. But lastly, Star Fox. We can dream, right? That's like the only other IP I can possibly think of could get a game right now. Where's Star Fox? I don't know. After Star Fox Zero, it put a very sour taste in, you know, all Star Fox fans' mouths, but we still want to see another Star Fox. I don't know what's happening with Star Fox. At this point, it's all a mystery with that series. But what's the verdict here? Well, it really comes down to if Nintendo is done with the Switch after this year, or if there's more years for the Switch. Like, are they going to continue games into the beginning of next year, even the middle of next year? Because that could indicate, you know, bigger game announcements for this Direct. That could indicate, you know, maybe some announcements for this year, later this year, and maybe even some big, you know, things to look forward to for next year, which Nintendo often does. But if this is the last year of the Switch and beginning of next year they're planning for the new console, they might just, you know, focus completely on this year and not have any other big surprises besides that one big Mario game or whatever the holiday season game is going to be. But I think the show will give us that big Mario surprise. I think there's a bunch of mini ones in the form of ports / HD remakes from classic games. It feels like it could be a really big fan favorite Direct. Not really a huge new game blowout Direct, but fan favorite, a really good feeling Direct where we come out and we got all the information on the DLCs. Like, we know what we're getting with the DLCs. We have some new games to look forward to, some small spin-offs and maybe some ports and remakes and remasters of classic games that are fan favorites like the Mario RPG, and, you know, with that big one Mario holiday game as well. I think that's really all we need, and just refreshing new information on Pikmin 4. That's all we really need, especially if Nintendo's got a new console coming next year. That should easily tie us over and get us excited for the rest of the year and for the end of the Switch and for the next console. But if there's even more new surprises, that's just even more on top of that. Now, obviously, there's going to be third-party games and smaller announcements and maybe even some indie games and stuff. I don't really predict those. I stick with mostly the mainline first-party Nintendo games. I just realized there's one character I forgot, and that's Yoshi. Maybe even Wario. See, like, the more you do these there's so much stuff they could announce. We haven't really had a Wario platformer game. We haven't had Yoshi in forever since Crafted World. It could be anything at this point. Nintendo is sitting on a gold mine of opportunities for what their next games could be. Like, at this point, this show is just anything that we can think of. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments down below what you are hoping to see, what you think we're going to see, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on all your post notifications so that way you can be updated on when I post and when I go live tomorrow for the Nintendo Direct, so you can sit and join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. But thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I will see you all on the next one. See you guys. Wait, I'm not done yet. Before you go, for those of you that stayed to the very end, special thing for you guys. So, if you guys want to appear in a future video, which means like literally by this evening, I'm making a video on the predictions for this 2D Mario game. Go in the comments down below and put in big capital 2D Mario, comma or hyphen or whatever you want to do, and then your wish. Just put 2D Mario in all caps and then followed by what you want to see with this 2D Mario game. What's your predictions? What do you think this is going to be like? And you could quickly appear in the future video for later today. Just let me know. Thank you guys. See you later.